Hi book lovers, and welcome or welcome back to a new video. And in this one I'm giving you 6 book recommendations that you have to add to your fall TBR. Do you hear me? You have to add these books to your fall TBR. Your fall TBR can be super long. I myself have a very ambitious, unrealistic fall TBR, but I want you to add these ones. Maybe you're not all going to read them this year, but I want them on your radar. That is my mission for this video. And I actually thought about giving you a fall guide because I did that last year, but I went through that fall guide and honestly it's still really good. I gave you fall recommendations for a lot of different genres as well, and I would still recommend all of them. I think it is a very good fall guide, so I didn't really want to do a new one. Like, you can still watch that one, it's still accurate. So I thought for this video I'll just give you 6 book recommendations that I haven't included in the fall guide, so that we can see them as an addition to the fall guide that you can still watch if you haven't already. And let's jump right into it. Fall is my absolute favorite season, and I'm also a very seasonal reader or mood reader. So if you're like me and you need specific books for a season or can only read certain books in a specific season, then you're at the right address, because I know that problem and I can help you out. And I mean, obviously you can read these books whenever. I just never would see myself reading any of these books in summer. These are really specific for me for fall, and I thought I would pass these book recommendations on to you, my lovely friends. So let's start with the first one. And like, I'm excited about all these books, and they're also very different. Like, we have cozy, we have dark academia, we have fantasy, we have romance. Like, we have a lot of different ones in here. So even though it's only 6 book recommendations today, I think you get a good variety, and I'm excited to talk about these with you guys. So the first one, recent obsession, and that is Nightshade by Autumn Woods. And I'm pretty sure this is a pen name, but Autumn Woods, I mean, come on, this author wanted us to read this in fall, and you know, she's right, because this is perfect for fall. This plays in the UK in Sorrowsong University, and we follow our female main character who goes there for her revenge plan, because her parents got killed at the university, and that university is generally just very dark. It's a dark place, and she comes across this guy who she then finds out is actually the son of the man responsible for her parents' death. So yes, we do have a hate or enemies to love situation, and he actually doesn't really know all of that, but he falls for her hard and he is obsessed with her, and I'm obsessed with him because of that. And I love them so much. I love the setting because, as I said, it's more of like dark academia, and like, this is not a normal university. Stuff is happening here, and you've definitely got a lot of like rich people drama because it's the university only rich people go to. But I also kind of loved almost the found family element in here as well. Because of the death of her parents, she's been very lonely in the recent years, and you see her battling with, you know, only going to the university to do her revenge plan, or maybe also, you know, forming friendships and embracing the whole experience. But there is a lot of mystery going on, so you don't only get the romance in here, but you also have the mystery element and the revenge plan, and all of that combined just makes such a fun and entertaining, really fast-paced, addictive read. And I love this so much. Only downfall is that this is the first one in a duology, and yes, it only just came out. We don't know when the second book will come out, but I believe that the author finished at least writing the second book. So, you know, it's a waiting game, but it is still worth it to put this on your TBR, guys. This is just very, very fun. Is it the absolute most realistic? No, but we're reading fiction, so it's okay. And I hope I convinced you enough to put this on your fall TBR. This is also adult. I would call it more new adult than adult. It has some spice in here. I personally wouldn't say it's super spicy, and it's slow burn. Like, it's coming in late. So take that information and do with it whatever you want. This is my first fall recommendation. The second one is one of my absolute favorite duologies ever. It is fall perfection, I'm telling you guys. Unfortunately, I only have the first book here, and that is Heartless Hunter. The second is The Rebel Witch, and the first one is also known as The Crimson Moth. This is for the enemies to lovers fans, and also if you love anything with witches, because we have a romance between a witch and a witch hunter, and like, there's so much deceit in here. There's so many layers why they shouldn't date, like why this is forbidden, why they actually hate each other, but also they're drawn to each other because she's also best friends with his brother, who's also in love with her. And it's not really a love triangle situation. It adds to the enemies to lovers element, and they both have ulterior motives why they want to sort of date each other or get to know each other better, because they need information. And the tension is just so good, because you know that they're both like pretending, but then they're also not pretending, and they're thinking, oh, is the other person actually pretending? Like, what do they want? Because they are my enemy. And guys, it's so good. If you haven't picked this one up yet, because I feel like this is very popular, like I'm not the first person who discovered this, but if you're somehow a person who hasn't picked this one up, I would highly suggest doing that, because it is really worth it. And even if you don't love it as much as I do, because I know I'm obsessed with it, you don't have to become obsessed with it. I feel like I trust that you would still have a really enjoyable time with this one. And it's also not really long. And yes, it's a duology, but when it comes to fantasies, I feel like this is a very good and quick read, if you know what I mean. It's not a long series you're committing to, but it's still like, it gives so much, especially also with the world building, and you're kind of like in the Renaissance era, I would say. I don't really know, like old age, where, you know, you had Kutschen, carriages instead of cars, you know? But yeah, please put this on your fall TBR as well. Okay, next up I have another fantasy, and definitely fall is like the season to read fantasies, but very different and not as high stake, but rather very cozy. I just have to mention the Emily Wilde series. This is so perfect for fall again. The coziness of this, like I remember reading the first one, and I think I read it in like spring, because, you know, this cover kind of gave me spring vibes. I don't know, but if you are a seasonal and mood reader like me, when I read the second book in autumn last year, like this hits so different. I liked the first one already, but I loved the second one. And I know it's not necessarily because of the plot, because this is cozy fantasy, so it's not very high stakes. And yes, I like knew the characters, so there wasn't like a lot of introductions, but I think one of the main reasons why I also enjoyed the second one so much more is because I read it in fall, and this is just so perfect for that season. I actually haven't read the third and last one yet, so I'm really looking forward to read this fall. And cozy fantasy means that the stakes are not very high, there's not a very super action-packed plot, but you fall in love with the characters, and they are very different. Like our main character is an academic, and she doesn't really like people or cares too much for them. She's not like this super empathetic woman, but she just really wants to do her studies, and she goes to this like Scandinavian place, I think, to study the folk there, because it's the last that she needs for her encyclopedia. But a few things go wrong, and actually her nemesis from the university comes to help her, but he has his own secrets, and you do get a little bit of a love story throughout these books as well, even though it's not like the main plot. It is so sweet and just very magical, and I really love this for the fall season. Then going back to a contemporary romance that I would 100% recommend for the fall is You Again. I also read that last fall, and obviously the cover is one of the main things. Like when you see that, you just have to read it in fall. Unfortunately, I don't have the physical book with me right now, but this is so beautiful. I wouldn't say necessarily I would recommend it to absolutely everyone. This is not a super generic romance that I think is for everyone, but if you enjoy a little bit of annoying characters that have to work through their stuff, and they're definitely flawed, they're not perfect, but I feel like just very human, then I think you would really enjoy this book. Like, I love the characters a lot, and it's definitely more of a character-driven book, and again, that's what I enjoy. I don't really need a plot when it comes to romances if you give me great characters. I know that this is inspired by When Harry Met Sally, but I have never seen the movie, so I can't really tell you about that. But in the book, you basically have these two characters that first meet because she's the roommate of the girl that he's dating, and that's when they first meet, and basically since then they bump into each other on a few occasions, and they sort of become friends with benefits, something like this. And it does feel very modern, which I also kind of appreciated, because I feel like it was different from a lot of other romances, and this book kind of feels like a very good rainy day book. I feel like that's the best way to describe it, and why I also think, besides the cover, that it is a really great read for the fall. And I would just like highly suggest giving it a try, especially if you like all the things that I usually like, or the things that I just listed. Then please try out You Again by Kate Goldbeck. And actually, this is her debut novel, and we're getting her second book very soon, I think in November, which is called Daddy Issues, and I'm so excited for that one. Like, guys, I really want another book by her because I do think that her voice, her writing is quite unique and just a little bit different and, you know, new and modern and just exciting. What I also always find very fitting for fall and maybe also winter is a dark romance book. So I know that not everyone likes dark romance, which is completely fine. However, I want to recommend you a dark romance that I believe you will also enjoy, even if you don't like dark romance at all or, you know, never read dark romance. And that is the Mindfck series. Guys, I basically just finished that book series and it is incredible. I'm just going to talk about like the whole book. I see it as one book even though it contains 5 short books, but don't let that be the reason why you won't read it, because it is so fast paced and you're also immediately sucked into it and it's so addictive. Like, I read this book series so quick and I didn't even have time for it, but I was okay with holding off sleep and just reading. And it felt also just really good being that addicted to a book again. And this is basically about Lana, who's taking revenge and is a serial killer, and starts dating the FBI agent and profiler who is on her case. And Logan is just perfection. And literally in my mind the whole time you think, okay, how's this going to end? Because like, what's going to happen? And as you go further with like each book and the story, like just how it all unfolds and like all the other storylines, like it's not just about the romance, make this so fun and entertaining, and you just like immediately you will be on Lana's side. Like, don't worry, because I was a little bit scared as well, you know, do I really want to support a serial killer? You will want to support her. Like, some men, they just deserve torture, and Logan is also just like so great, like great in his job, but also great as her boyfriend. It is obviously a very complicated situation, but 100% I would recommend it. And as I said, even if you don't really like dark romance, I would still say you can absolutely read this. It is obviously spicy, so if you don't like spice, that's the only time where I would say, okay, maybe skip this one. But other than that, you don't have an excuse. Put this on your fall TBR. I know this is also an older book, so if you've read this already, then please leave a comment, because I'm still like so obsessed with them that like I just want to talk about them non-stop. So these were already 5 recommendations. We're coming to my 6th and final book now, and obviously like I'm talking about 6 books, but a lot of these are like book series, so there are more, and the next one is also a book series, because nowadays just everything is a book series. Okay, it's very hard to find standalones. Anyway, it's another fantasy, it's another like dark academia setting, and I'm so excited about this one as well, and that is Arcana Academy by Elise Kova. We're following our main character Clara, who starts in prison, and she gets a visit by Prince Kaylis, if I say his name correct, and he gives her an offer. She needs to steal something that he needs, and therefore she can go to Arcana Academy and also pretend to be his fiance. And Arcana Academy is basically this place where everyone that has like the magic gene, who can like draw magic, draw these cards, because this is also a very unique magic system. I haven't really seen something like this before. I feel like the only thing that it's not the same but is similar is One Dark Window and the Two Twisted Crowns duology, because it also contains cards. But anyone who can basically wield the cards and draw them goes to Arcana Academy. Otherwise they will be sent to the mills. And also you can't just go here, you have to pass a lot of tests, and you also at the end of the 1 year you have to go through trials again, because otherwise again you're out, you're going to the mills, and you're basically a slave to this kingdom. So Clara, our main character, is not only trying to steal the things for the prince, but she's also trying to pass all the tests of the Arcana Academy, plus not falling for the prince himself, who she clearly can't trust. But like also the romance in here is like, it's very slow burn, but this is also adult, which for me I prefer, so I just want to mention that as well. And it just it eats like all the crumbs you get. It's so good when it finally happens. And also, since this is the first one of the trilogy, like we don't really get a lot of the romance. Like it's still prominent, but it is not a lot. Like I wouldn't call this a romantasy, so I can't wait for the 2nd and 3rd book. Like I don't think we actually have dates for that, and let's not think about it, because it's like Nightshade. Like, I actually hate starting unfinished series, but you know, we have to suffer through this together because it's just so good. And also when it comes to fantasies, I feel like you can definitely tell that Elise Kova is a very experienced fantasy writer. Like, I actually haven't read anything else by her, but I've seen that she has a very big backlist, and you can just tell in her writing, her world building, her storytelling that she is a very experienced author, and I also appreciated that. So if you want like the dark academia, enemies to lovers, slow burn, unique magic system book, this is it. This is it for you, and this is my last recommendation for fall. Like, this video just made me so happy because I love talking about books, I love talking about fall, and especially when I can recommend you some of my faves, just makes me happy. I really hope that you put all of them on your TBR, but let me know which one you're most interested in reading, and if you have any of your own recommendations, also please leave them in the comments. I always love to see them. And other than that, I would say I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like and also subscribe for more bookish content in the future, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!